The following thoughts and opinions we're going to discuss regarding this album are strictly of our own personal interests. We are not professional music reviewers. We encourage respectful discussion and friendly banter in each episode, but we do not condone and will not tolerate bullying or belligerence. You are welcome to take what we say regarding the albums we rate with a grain of salt.
Well, hey there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Rate the Record podcast, episode 54.
Woo, like Studio 54, drugs and disco. Yay.
At least you had something clever to say for it, because I was like, I have nothing. The only clever thing I could say is that we're back from our mid-season break, so we flipped the record over to side B.
And I did a lot of self-reflecting, and I realized that I am the best I'll ever be, so I'm just the same. How was your break?
In your own mind and heart.
Yes.
My break was busy. It never ended. So, I mean, like, the work never ended. So, hey, look at me doing things, right?
Yay, and you didn't break a sweat once.
I hope not. Anyways, your B-side hosts for the day are Kris and
Savannah.
Yes, even though you're the best you'll ever be best. That's how that works. Great joke. Haha, funny.
Oh, so canon for the show.
Be
this, be that.
And even on that note, too, just like when I said we flipped to the B side of the record, it's like, that's impossible because the first portion of the season was like straight B records everywhere.
Yeah.
And I've, not just for today's episode, but I think I have a bad feeling for the rest of the season.
Oh my God. Well, let's just hope that
episodes.
Let's hope this is a C instead.
I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see. We really will.
That was
Anyways,
a good and bad setup.
Yes, I know, right? I mean, it's like bowling for a strike, getting a spare, and then you're just like, whatever, why did I bring up a bowling analogy? Anyways,
Yes.
Thank you very much for joining us for our bowling analogies. If you do like what you hear today, make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, rate, share, follow, all those things to help us build that musical community, because just because we're in the second half of season 3 doesn't mean that we've stopped building that musical community. We want you to be a part of it. As always, in the audio realm, make sure that you're leaving those 5-star ratings, excellent reviews, so people just like you can find us and be a part of this oh-so-cool podcast that has the best jokes ever.
Yeah, and then just join everyone else and make sort of like a human pyramid, and then lift Kris and I on the top like the gods we are.
And then we lose our balance, fall out, and then the peasants step on us. That's just how it's going to work.
Oh, no. Is that how a lot of these old countries fell?
I'm going to say yes, but that's not factual.
I have no idea.
But also, too, building this musical community, don't forget, on YouTube. And this might be one of the last times I actually have to say this, surprisingly enough, but been saying it for a while. Once we hit 100 subscribers, we will actually start giving away free records. Oh my God, we're actually getting close. And I say we're getting close because by the time we recorded this, and I just checked before we hit record, we're at 98 right now. So, I mean, like, holy shit, we're almost triple digits. I know a lot of YouTubers be like, oh, 100, who cares? Like, that's huge for us, okay? We didn't anticipate getting 50.
That's 100. That's 200 ears listening to this. And if you only have one ear, I'm sorry, I don't mean to exclude you. That's so many ears listening to this voice. At home, I don't even have 2 ears listening to this.
I would say roughly give or take 200, just to be fair about things.
But like, that is just wild to me that like, you guys listen to me talk. Ew. Why?
No, well, yeah, ew, you. That's why they listen to me. So that way it's a more soothing, presence and just welcoming connection there.
Fair, unfair, but fair.
But yes, we're almost at 100, and when we hit 100, we're going to start giving away free records. We know you want to be a part of that by all means, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and then once we get the contest started, it's not going to start right away, by the way, but we will work into it. We'll let you know all about it. We're almost there, so hit that subscribe button, and you could win some free music out of it, asterisk.
And you can't say we didn't do anything for you, so...
You know what else we did for you, too? We made exclusive content you can get over on Kofi.com/ratetherecord. Granted, you have to pay for it, but we still did it for you, though. I mean, it's a whole new thing. We're planning a whole bunch of new content. We actually have the first video up on Kofi now. I've been talking about it forever and ever, and I was like, okay, I finally got to post this. I gotta do this. And drag my feet. We recorded it back in July.
Oh my gosh. I don't even remember what I said. Maybe I disagree with all of it. So Who knows? But you have to join to find out.
The first episode is actually just a mini version of Write the Record. We did an EP, The White Swans, Touch, Taste, Destroy. So if you want to hear all about that and other EPs we plan on doing and other content we're going to do, Ko-fi.com/Write the Record. Of course, that's found at writetherecord.ca as well. But on Ko-fi, you can also, when you join the RTR Club, $5 a month, that gets you a shout out, that gets your name on a card at the end of the episodes and thanking you for being, really awesome part of the RTR Club. And hey, if you have a band and you want us to listen to a song and give you our brutally honest truth and B or possibly even C tier your song,
You really don't.
Then go ahead and submit a song and we'll actually do it over on Ko-fi.com/Write the Record, found at writetherecord.ca.
Woo!
You have been warned.
Yeah, pretty much. If you're willing to put yourself through this, you really kind of knew what you were getting into. So
Precisely, yes. We've been here long enough now that if you're willing to pay for content, you know exactly what you're dealing with.
Exactly.
Any idiots who are going to be saying it too.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Normally I'm offended, but that is completely the truth.
And again, if you've been here before, then you know exactly that that's the truth. So welcome back. We're glad to have you here. We're always glad to have you here. And by all means, hey, maybe one day you'll be part of the RTR Club. Completely optional, but the idea is just like the fact that you're here watching the free content and hanging out with us. Good stuff. Good stuff. I love it. But if you're new here, you don't know how much of an idiot that either Savannah and I could be, so that's fine. You'll learn soon enough. Welcome to the show. We hope you enjoy your stay. We hope you enjoy what you see and what you hear and say and do and experience. There, twinkle, something, my fingers twinkle.
Yeah.
Anyways, that means you don't know what we do here on the show. No problem. I got you covered. So every single week, Savannah and I will choose an album beat completely at random. Like today's album is, I think, one of the more random ones I think we've done so far. Yep. Or it might be an anniversary. The albums celebrate anniversaries all the time, 20, 30, 40 years old milestones. We check those ones off too. And of course, we take requests. We always take requests, and we got more coming up soon. We've already had a bunch, so stay tuned for that. But regardless, we will choose an album. We will discuss it front to back. We rank the songs, and then we rate the record. Woo! Even getting that close to the microphone, your audio's still cut on the woo.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter anymore.
You could literally shove that thing halfway down your throat and scream into it. Although that sounds like more of an OnlyFans thing, so maybe save that for later. Yes,
we will be starting an OnlyFans for feet.
Spoiler, we already have. We just haven't told anyone because we don't know how to market it since we're that dumb.
Yep.
we have a $100 video of us playing patty cake with our feet.
I shoved my entire foot into a jar of mayonnaise.
And I crushed pickles and made relish with my feet. Well, we've been rambling an awful lot, but I think it's about time we start actually rambling about what we're doing today for episode 54. We are looking at Duran Duran, and I didn't think this was ever going to happen. Duran Duran and their 1982
1982
album, Rio.
So admittedly, if it's not obvious by the introduction, this is my choice this week.
Kris didn't do it.
There are many times that I'll just listen to a song and go, yeah, sure, and then add it to the list. And then I get a text later on from Kris going, so are we really doing this? And I believe this one may have been one of them. So I'm excited that it stayed on the list.
Obviously, I won't say anything, but there's an album for season 4 that I saw you write down that I'm still like, why are we doing that? Like way more than I would have thought for this album.
Interesting. I'll have to go look because I do know I've added some pretty.
We've actually discussed it off camera. I think like when we filmed the Chili Peppers.
Okay.
So I just to leave everyone suspense until next season.
Yeah, well, I'm in suspense as well. So.
Excellent. Well, yeah. Until then, you got to stay in suspense. But we will tell you a little bit about, or at least Savannah is going to tell you a little bit about Duran Duran, and of course the album Rio.
Duran Duran are an English band known most for being a part of the new wave sound in the 1980s. Formed in Birmingham, England, I almost said Alabama, England in 1978, their most well-known lineup wouldn't be completed until 2 years later in 1980. Duran Duran shot to popularity alongside the rise of music videos and MTV. It was also in 1980 where the band signed with record label EMI, and in 1981 released their self-titled debut album. It's kind of like an Arctic Monkeys thing where they get together, they're signed, release an album, and it's like, that's it. That's all they're doing for the rest of their lives now. It's wild. May 10th, 1982. So 40 and a half years ago. Oh my God, that hurts.
Yikes.
Saw the release of Duran Duran's second album, Rio, which was recorded in London and produced by Colin Thurston. It's not a surprise that the singles from Rio include the title track, Hungry Like the Wolf, and Save a Prayer. The album actually received mixed to negative reviews upon release. And I guess the best summary I could give is that it didn't do very well in North America until some of the tracks were remixed and the label started to market the band more as like a dance band. Over the years, retrospective reviews have been a little bit more generous to the album, and it has been touted as, quote, aging well. So there's that at least. Number 6 on the Billboard Top LPs and Tape charts. Now, don't forget, this was the early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 in Australia, number 2 in the UK, and number 1 in Canada. Rio has been certified 2 times platinum in the US and Canada, and platinum in the UK. But like we mentioned before, they have different rating systems. Hungry Like the Wolf won a Grammy in 1984 for Best Short Form Music Video. And if you've seen it, you'll know why. You're probably wondering where Duran Duran got their name from. And I thought it was something crazy, maybe something foreign. It's a, 1960s movie Barbarella. There's a doctor named Duran Duran with a D at the end, and that's literally where they got their name from. And that's
Crazy.
it. Yeah, I thought it was something crazy like Depeche Mode, where it's like a French magazine. Ooh la la. No, it's just a character in a movie. That's that.
Fantastic. I didn't know that this album got like only okay reviews.
Right?
Like
Me neither.
Again, I don't know a lot about Duran Duran, so I thought this would have been like explosive 80s music that people just love and clamored over. And they also have a very dedicated fan base.
Yeah.
And today we're going to piss you off.
And at the time, the rating I saw from the Village Voice was a C-, but all of the newer ones were like 4.5 stars out of 5. Like All Music gave it 4.5. So
I was gonna
anytime
ask,
it's less than 5, I'm always gonna point it out.
If it's less than 4 to me, I give them like the benefit of the doubt. But so if it's less than 4, it's like might as well be less than half.
Yeah, someone didn't pay enough.
50% of the album is 1 through 4, and then like the other 50 is 4 through 5. Very tight box. You gotta get in there. That's what she said. Anyway. Yeah, that's right. I could do that to myself. It's all good. Well, let's see where our rating for the album falls today. Maybe it'll be way better than the professionals. Maybe we'll actually make something of ourselves. Or maybe it'll be another B-tier album because that's what we're so good at.
Oh, my God. Well, fingers crossed that it's at least a B+.
And on OnlyFans, we also cross our toes. $5 a picture. Anyways, we can get started now with this album. With the first song, the title track, we're going to talk about Rio.
To me, the intro sounds like the branding card for like a movie production company before an action movie. And it's just every time I heard it, I was like, maybe it's something else. No, it's that. The entire time I was like, that's kind of cool.
Well, to me, I actually have written down that like I thought it was a very ominous opening that feels like the beginning of like a suspense or horror film.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, then you have this like wacky synth and this like bass line come in, so I guess it's not so scary anymore. It's like, what movie is this like Gremlins or something? Like, what's happening here?
To me, this is the first out of 2 songs that just automatic movie scene jumps into my head.
There's one song coming up that I literally have like imagery of a movie scene, and I'll explain it when we get there because I do have it written down. It's like a detailed thing.
I hope it's the same one that I have.
Maybe we'll see. Like this is kind of a blanket statement. I didn't realize this when I first wrote this part of the note, but like the bass line's really fun.
Oh my God, he's so good.
Yeah, the bass all over this album is actually like really well done, and like just in this song too, just in particular, I guess like I just do like the flow overall of the verse, but like the bass is something that just kind of drives most of the songs, including this one. There's a lot going on too, especially with like the hi-hats and the synth or like within pace of each other for the 16th notes. So that's really fun. Just drives the track along a lot. I really like it.
I definitely agree with the bass overarching statement for the entire album. These bass lines are very jumpy, and I like how dynamic it is. It isn't just, quarter notes, 16th notes. It's grabbing your hand and taking you for a walk, and I like that a lot. Even in the bridge, I just want to shake my table. It is so good. I love it. Ugh.
Yeah, there's a lot of entertaining moments in the song, and just a great starter to the album altogether. I mean, like, then you even have the very first line of the chorus that almost instantly gets caught in my head. I'm just like, damn, their pop writing style.
Yeah, it's very memorable, and it's easy to sing along to, even if you don't know the rest of the song. As long as you can sing along to the chorus with everyone else who only knows the chorus, you're set.
Well, it's like Hungry Like the Wolf. Hungry like the wolf.
I actually know the lyrics to that one, but yes.
Well, I don't listen to it too often, so I only know hungry like a wolf.
Well, at least you've heard it before.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with it, and I'm pretty. I could be wrong, but it was probably in that Grand Theft Auto Vice City, but I could be wrong. One thing I noticed, again, another kind of blanket statement that I didn't realize in the first track is how much the guitar takes a back seat in the production. Yeah. Like, now granted, I listened to this on Spotify and it was a remastered version, so if the original sounds any different, I wouldn't know. I haven't heard it, so I'm only listening to what Spotify gave me. But yeah, like, I don't know, it was so much quieter in the mix, not so much that you couldn't hear it, but just you're so used to the guitar taking like front and center, or at least like a larger chunk of the scale. But I mean, like, yeah, it was like mainly buried behind synthesizers, which was it worked in some songs, not all of them. This one wasn't all bad, though. I liked it. It was a very welcome texture to be kind of like just spread in the background, and I don't know, added a little extra oomph to the song overall.
I mentioned that later on in the album because that's definitely, like you said, a theme through the whole thing. I feel like they got the bass and the guitar mixed up because the bass is so much more forward, which, hey, no complaints on this end. But it is kind of nice to hear the guitar back a little bit just because it is something different. And I do like how a lot of it is just sort of loose grooving with chords. It's nothing crazy. It's just sort of that loose sort of, I don't know, jangly pop strumming. But I'm a fan and I like it.
Well, yeah, we know that you like bass because of our past episodes. And also I made a meme dedicated to it too.
I love it.
You know, so if I had the creative what about or whatever on my phone, I would have actually put your head over top of Wolverine's head. But I don't have the tools on my phone to do that kind of editing, so I didn't even bother with it.
Oh, thank God, thank you.
But there is one where I'm going to need a picture of your face for it to work. I have a meme idea, but I need a picture of your face.
Okay, as long as it's a stupid expression,
I'm just gonna find like a screen cap of one of our episodes of you making like a really weird face, and that's just gonna be it.
And you say weird face, and then I look at the photo, and it's just me making my normal face. I'm like, hey.
Yeah, I found this the ugliest shot I could. You were making the weirdest face. Exact right there. That's it. That's a screenshot.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah, you almost forget it's the 80s until you hear something like the weird, crazy sax. You said nothing crazy. I mean, there's a sax solo in here.
There is.
Stop.
There is.
I don't hate saxophone in music, but just to me, saxophones haven't aged well in music.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna catch flack for that because I know people love sax, but I mean, if you're not Baker Street by Michael Rafferty, I think it is. Is that what that's the name?
I have no idea. I only know
Jerry
the song
Rafferty.
title.
Jerry Rafferty. Baker Street. If you're not that saxophone solo, then I don't care.
What about Careless Whisper?
No, Baker Street only.
Okay. What about Kenny G? He plays saxophone.
No,
right?
Baker Street only.
Nothing Bill Clinton ever did.
No, Baker Street only. That's just like my deadpan like reaction.
I mean, devil's advocate here, saxophone definitely does sort of put you in this definite timeline because it's like, I don't know when it really started in the 80s, if not maybe late 70s, but I'd say in my head, anything that came out until maybe 1992, like that would be saxophone territory. Anything after, I guess anything really after grunge, it was like, yeah, fuck this, throw it in the trash.
Saxophone in a grunge band would have been a really weird combination.
Oh, that's like getting into sort of ska crossover territory here.
Grunge ska? Oh god, that's awful. That's god awful. Why would you put that image in my head?
That is awesomely gross. Oh my god.
I don't need it.
That's like the one time I made scrambled eggs with eggnog. It's like separately they're okay. Together they're disgusting.
Why would you even have that thought in your head?
Because it was creamy. I thought it would be like milk, but with seasoning. And then when I ate it, it was
Listen,
the worst
we all get
had.
some terrible intrusive thoughts, but that doesn't mean you're supposed to actually act on them.
Oh, it was so gross. Don't ever do that. Word to the wise, please.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll cook my eggs my own way. Song number 2, My Own Way, because we were done talking. We've been talking about Rio for like nearly 10 minutes.
Yeah, we're done. We're done. Yep.
Okay, My Own Way, song number 2. Again, bass being kind of a leader in the song, digging the pop slap bass in this one. Hey, we're getting pretty funky on this.
Yeah, I love it. I guess this is the one where I talk about the guitar. I do like the loose feeling. It's nonchalant. That's the word I'm trying to find. But this song really gives me Girls on Film vibes. So I don't know if it was just sort of the time or if it was written around the same time, but that's kind of some of the chord progressions kind of gave me that feeling, which was fine. But all in all, this one kind of took me a little bit longer to really grasp onto.
Yeah, I can get onto that because there were things with the song I liked and then others I wasn't super huge on, I guess. There's like these panning synth tom drums that happen a lot, and actually I like that. I do like it though. Like the 80s of it really dirties my blood a lot, if that's the best way I can describe it.
So is that a bad thing or?
I want to say yes, but that's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
That's a very neutral comment. Let's just say that because I like it. It's a good touch, but then yeah, it's just like, oh, this is too 80s. Like this I mean, this is like right in the early 80s too. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
I do appreciate the layering in this track though. I mean, like this feels like it could have probably been really minimal and empty feeling, but again, with like just good panning and texturing all around, they did a really good job of the layering. So there was actually a lot to kind of take in, especially on headphones. So there was a lot more to enjoy there. But again, maybe that's the remastered version. I cannot speak on the original.
Yeah. I do find that it kind of dragged a little at some point.
To me.
Yes. But the repetition of the chorus really kind of makes it seem longer than it is, and it's already almost 5 minutes. And the vocalizations at the end don't add anything to it, and it's not even a callback to earlier in the song. So sort of hearing that, I was like, we could have probably just ended the song by now.
I pretty much agree with all of that. I can kind of mirror that usually mirror me, and I have to mirror you. And I did say this song drugged me, and I can actually say that because I will write exactly what I wrote here. I felt like I zoned out somewhere around the middle, so I had to rewind the song. But realistically, I didn't miss anything. The composition didn't really have a whole lot of life to it after the first couple of minutes.
Yeah. And I found that the chorus was weak in comparison to the verses. But when you're repeating the chorus at the end, I can imagine you're just kind of like, okay, we're done now. Please stop.
That happens a few times on this album where the chorus is just not up to par with the verses. Like the verses sometimes lead the song. The chorus is like, you really kind of pulled back a little, didn't you? I don't know why. The chorus is like, there are songs I like that have like far quieter choruses, but I mean, this wasn't the right way to do it.
Yeah, there was one that I really kind of took issue with. The more I listened to it, the more I kind of know what to expect. But upon the first couple of listens, you're just like, you're not really giving me the payoff that I want. And it does kind of suck that there's sort of that glimpse into that so early on in the album.
Yeah. And this is another kind of longer track. I don't want to say like long. It's only 4 minutes and 51 seconds, but this is another track on the album. This actually happens a couple times where this probably would have worked as like a 3:30 type track, like your typical radio track. I think it would have been fine, though I do like the guitar work in the last leg. Other than that, just, maybe a touch too long and just a touch too repetitive.
Yeah, I agree.
Good. We're on the same page so far. It's too bad we're probably still going to get 0 to 9 matches.
God, we're so bad at that. Ugh.
awful. So not only do we keep getting zeros, but we just keep doing B tier album ratings. Like we're becoming predictable now.
It's like we're not professionals.
Oh, could you imagine if we actually were, though? I'm just gonna go ahead and tell people I am professional, get them to listen to the podcast and be like, this sucks. It's like, duh.
Just a side note, go along with what you just said. There's a podcast that I listen to and it's called The Complete Guide to Everything. All it is two best friends picking a topic. They don't even talk about it at the beginning of the episode. It's like 10 minutes of them talking about what happened to them over the weekend. Then they roughly talk about the topic. And apparently earlier on when they started, they kept getting comments and letters and stuff about like, somebody wanted to listen to a podcast about something particular educational, and they found that and was like, this is shit. Like, it's just you guys bantering. And I can imagine that somebody listening to this and they want like an actual insightful review. They listen to this going, this is shit. And for those who think that, but still keep coming back, I thank you.
Yeah, I'm not going to point out names or episodes, but we've kind of already had that happen already. So, in the end, though, like if you don't like what you're hearing, then you can just as easily turn off the podcast. Trust me, I will notice where you turn it off because in our audience retention, I can see exactly where shit tanks. So trust me, it's fine. I get it. You don't have to like this.
Yep.
Alrighty, song number 3, "Lonely in Your Nightmare."
I really like the jangly guitar at the beginning. It is very like of its time, but very like Smithsy, and I don't know. I was super down for it because I really like that sort of upbeat sounding, higher strings.
Smiths and upbeat.
Shit.
Pick one.
I can't.
Smiths are very depressing.
Well, depressing, but like in a I'm living with it, thumbs up kind of way, you know?
Taping the smile on your mouth, just pulling your cheeks back.
Exactly.
That's like Elliott Smith, like I've mentioned a billion times on this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. It's very upbeat, but then the lyrics, you're like, oh, what? But jangly guitar, I love it regardless.
Yeah, I do too. And actually, it's funny that you kind of like compared it even to a band there, like the Smiths, because the first thing I wrote that is like I really dig like the kind of like post-punk 80s romantic goth feel to this track.
Yeah, okay, yes.
I do really enjoy that. And the bands, I two bands I compared it to, I literally said, really the best combination I have for this song is if Kick era In Excess wrote a song with Disintegration era The Cure.
Oh my God, it's so funny you said In Excess because that's what I thought. But when I was listening to it a second time, I was like, this kind of has a Smith sort of sound to it. That is very funny you said that. I really should have written that down.
Well, originally I thought In Excess too, and then I started thinking about like I listened to a bit of The Cure and Disintegration. I've listened to the album front to back, and I really like that one. And I was just like, some of the writing on this track could fit on that album, but if In Excess wrote it for them, you know, like
that's funny. Okay, we are definitely on the same track with this album.
It's not going to show in our score. It's not going to show.
Oh, it is. I'm trying.
Well, verbally, yes, it's fantastic, but no, our numbers are just going to be like, way off.
Yeah. I bet you got a
fart noise for audio listeners was me demonstrating how far off we will be.
Oh, he farted. He has the album and he farted on it. I
brought my cheeks right up to the microphone.
I bet you rated this a 63.
A 63. I'm looking at the number I rated it right now. Oh, and I should mention, did this off camera, and Savannah can confirm, what we did with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I wrote down when I thought her score was going to be on a piece of paper. It's just behind my webcam right now to the video viewers. She hasn't seen it, and I haven't done anything with it. I'm staring at the score right now, so we will see how close I got, because I got really close with the Chili Peppers.
You did. I don't have a lot of hope on this one.
No.
This one even sort of surprised me. But good luck nonetheless. There's no prize for winning, but the sweet smell of success, I guess.
Yeah. I like that song too. That's a Tomahawk callback.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of my favorites.
Nice.
This song has some great fretless bass work on it. Really like it. Sounds really smooth. Fretless bass is always super smooth and sexy sounding. Gotta love it. Though it occasionally like sits heavy on the mix, so like it's a little weird to take in sometimes. But other than that, like I don't really have a lot to complain about. Like the song has like a really great smooth flow to it. The progression just feels like so natural that you don't even realize how long the song's been until it starts fading out. And granted, it's not a long song though; it's only 3 minutes and 52 seconds, so it's not that bad.
I liked the guitar wailing at the end. I thought that was a nice addition. I really like when the back end of the song is different from the beginning, because when it's sort of constant or sort of has the same tone to it, it does feel a lot longer, because you're like, how am I listening to the same minute over and over and over again? So that was nice. And I am more likely to listen to this album as part of listen to this track as part of the entire album rather than standalone. I don't really know what that says. It's not good or bad, but I probably wouldn't pick this one and put it on my personal playlist.
No, yeah, fair enough.
And I'd throw a question mark down on that one if you're trying to figure out where we match.
I already made my marking anyway. I'm trying to think, like, maybe we should, instead of saying what we're gonna match, how many one-offs will we have? Because that seems to be the better number to guess. We have more one-offs than we do actual matches.
4.
I would actually believe that.
Yeah,
that's nearly half the album. All right, speaking of 4, song number 4, then we're gonna go on to probably what I would assume is their biggest hit ever, is "Hungry Like the Wolf."
Yep. Okay, so I barely have any notes for this one, so I'm just gonna spew them all out now. Now, again, overarching bass, love, heart, however the kids do their little heart finger things.
It's just like,
yeah, for millennials.
The old-fashioned way is like that, okay.
Yeah, it's also better for my arthritic hands. Yes, hurts my finger. Anyways, point is, bass, beautiful, love it. I never once noticed that sort of popcorn-like synths that make the bass of this song. I never fucking noticed that before. That has to be a remastered thing, because I really like that. One note just says hooks galore, and there's no way anyone hasn't heard the song. And to be honest, aside from saying that this is a really well-written song, I don't know what else to say. I really just want to listen to it, which I guess says a lot unto itself.
Yeah, I mean, it does. If you can get through that fast, and that's how you end your review, because usually when you storm through a review, it's usually a pretty bad one.
Yeah.
You just want to get it out of the way.
Well, I'm like sitting there and I'm listening to it, and then it ends and I go, oh, fuck, I was supposed to write something. So I think for those 3 or 4 notes, I had to listen to the song like 6 times. And I've heard it hundreds of times, but really paying attention to it, I'm like, I got lost in it, and in a good way.
You mentioned those like synth popcorny sounds and everything like that. And again, can I read my notes, please? And you can stop reading mine, because maybe it's because I never paid attention, but I don't recall the sequence synth being louder than the guitars. Feels like the guitar should pop out a little more in this track. Yeah,
I never noticed before. I liked it, but it was kind of like I can't believe I discovered this for the first time now.
It bothered me a little bit, only because, like, again, it was a little loud in the mix, and maybe that is a remastered thing. Not enough to tank the score or anything, but just like I kind of wish it was mixed in a different way, where it's like, one thing stood out over the other that's not that synth, because usually sequencing like that works better in the background to just kind of like carry the track while everything else is happening. But this is supposed to be your staple, okay, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And they do that a lot in this album. I think this one was just a little bit more prevalent.
Yeah, although I think it might happen again. I can't remember. It'll come up in my notes. I can't remember the album off the top of my head, because again, I only listened to this like 2 or 3 times. So
yeah.
And obviously the chorus is super catchy, super memorable. Like, there's no denying that. But like, nothing is as catchy and as easy as those doo-doos in the verse, though.
Oh my God, yes.
I think that part's honestly catchier than the chorus. Like, that's the part of the song I think of when I'm actually like humming it, because it's just the easiest part to remember. And also the lyrics are literally do repeated a bunch of times.
For the most part, yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. I think I said it on camera, where I was just like, sometimes you don't know the lyrics and you'll just like hum it until you finally get to the words,
Yeah. Oh yeah. So and then you just scream those ones with so much confidence.
And I like it in this song too, because if I do it in the verse, like, it still sounds nonsensical no matter what. So I start off with like, it's just, it sounds like I still don't know the words. So it just works.
Oh my God. It just reminds me of a joke that anyways. Oh my God. That's funny.
Alrighty then. So I noticed in the middle of the song too, there's like this heavy breathing.
Yeah.
Like I guess it's the imagery of like someone being chased by the wolf or something like that. It makes the song creepy, but not in a spooky way, more of like a stalker predator kind of way. And I don't know. It reminds me of all the pop songs I've heard that have like the creepiest stalkery kind of like I possess you now type lyrics.
I do not like breathing ASMR, so stuff like that definitely bothers me. So it's like I have to put it in some sort of contextual imagery for it to make sense. And that's exactly what I got. Because like you see the video, you kind of piece the song into the video. So that's kind of what I got from that. But I think the repetition of hungry like the wolf, hungry. I'm like, I never heard that before either. I don't
maybe
ever remember
they popped it out in the
that.
remaster. I don't know.
Yeah, interesting. Now I'm really curious to hear the original, just this track.
Hey, Duran heads or whatever the fan base is called. I really don't know.
Yeah.
Duran heads,
Durannies.
Duranian fruit. That's a durian fruit joke. Anyways, That's a terrible joke.
Stinks.
Let us know down in the comments, like just how different is the remaster from the original, and are we way off our rocker here, or are we actually onto something? I don't know. So the only other thing I had to say is like, obviously it's a very straightforward song structure, but it works really well for this particular track. Obviously it's worked well for years. It doesn't need to be any longer. Fantastic. And anything important was emphasized appropriately. So yeah, there's not really a lot wrong with this song. Maybe it's my bias of hearing it a lot that like I'm not super hot on it, but at the same time, I obviously see why this is a successful song.
Yep. I agree. And I am a little hot on it, but I have been since like I heard it like decades ago. So it's a single, and it's one of their well-known best.
It's gotta be one of it has to be
for
like,
a reason.
Yeah, it has to be one of like it has to be their number one single, I would think. Like maybe Rio's is close second, because like and maybe Girls on Film, but I mean like I think Hungry Like the Wolf is like it. Like that's number one.
It transcends being released in 1982, because I would have assumed that it was released in maybe 87.
Yeah, so, the fact that it can still live in pop culture, even through parody. The fact is, it's still important enough to do that. It's kind of like doing like Material Girl or something with Madonna, or like a Virgin. Like those are just songs that even if you don't know Madonna's catalog, you know those songs, and they're still. And I mean, ask Weird Al; he'll tell you exactly how popular those songs are.
Right, exactly.
Although I feel like Weird Al probably did a song by Duran Duran. I feel like he did. I don't know his discography too well, but you figure he would have. Yeah. Duran Duran, come on.
I know his 1993, 92 album front to back, but any other one, not right.
Is that really. Bad Hair Day?
No, it's Off the Deep End, where the cover is him like the Nirvana baby.
Oh, okay, because I know Bad Hair Day, which had Amish Paradise on it, so I'm very familiar. But when my cousin used to babysit me and my sister when we were like really young, we used to listen to that album a lot, so I'm very familiar with that, and also Salt and Pepper because of that same incident. So hey, cool stuff. Great mix of music. All right, so song number 5. We're moving on now to Hold Back the Rain.
This is the one where I imagine this song being over the opening shots of a California high school in a 1980s coming-of-age high school movie.
Unfortunately, this was not the song then that we see eye to eye with the cinema stuff anyway.
Yeah. That's definitely how it feels to me.
But this song does make really good use of like the sound space that it has, though. Like again, it's just doing that thing where you have like good panning and just like great layering and everything like that gives more like sound, more life to the sound. So yeah, like they seem to be really good at doing that, because realistically, again, this could be a very monotone, shitty production, you know?
So this is, I really don't want to just start my my review of the song negatively, but I hated the chorus. It is alternating lines of sort of a call and answer type thing. So the first line of the chorus, it sounds like it's going to be a pre-chorus, and it sounds like it's ramping up to a bigger chorus. Well, it ramps up and then it just says hold back the rain. Then it amps up again and says hold back the rain. And it's just, it is like blue balling me this entire fucking time. And it drove me nuts. Now, it, again, like I said, it did start to grow on me now that I know what to expect. So it's not like I'm so antsy to get to that huge chorus, but it really let me down the first couple times that I heard it.
Fair enough. But speaking of the choruses, though, like I actually like the harmonies in the chorus.
Yeah.
I agree that it doesn't feel like it resolves at all, which it can be problematic, but I guess I just didn't think about it too much while I was listening to it. My brain wasn't anticipating much in the way of anything being like grand, or that word I really like, grandiose. But like, I don't know, I the harmonies that were in the chorus were enough to distract me saying, oh, that sounds pretty, so I like it. It's a really nice touch and gives like a balance to like the fun and smooth portions of the track and everything like that, or gives a nice balance to it being fun and smooth at the same time. So there you go. Because usually I associate with like fun with bouncy.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, songs can be fun for like a multitude of reasons, though.
Yeah, I find that even sometimes having this sort of interesting vocal melody sort of run can make a song fun, even if the rest of the music is sort of more sullen in a way.
Yeah. And I'm not certain what more could possibly be done with this song. Like, this song's only 3 minutes and 51 seconds. So again, it's not one of those super long songs.
Yeah.
But it feels like the outro was like a little underdone, if that's even a word to use. Like, I mean, there's a lot of repetition on the refrain and everything like that, and those like loud synth toms that just, a lot of hits that didn't really do much to spice up the ending. So to the idea that it never really felt like there was a climax in the song, it ended kind of weak. But the thing is, like, I liked it overall, though. I do like the song, just not expecting much from it, but at the same time, it feels like it's missing a lot.
I didn't really notice the end of this one in particular. I did notice that the fading out seemed to be pretty quick with a lot of these songs, but then I'm thinking about it. They're doing this on tape. It's all analog. Like, I'm sure that's just the way it was getting done. I'm not going to shit on it too much. I didn't really ruin the song at all. But I don't actually really have anything else for this one. Again, bass, synths. I liked it. It's, if I'm ever at a lack of anything to say, I'm just going to go bass, good. Thumbs up.
It's like E.T. learning how to say be good, but you say bass, good. And then Drew Barrymore's like cheering you on from behind the TV. She's like, wow, she's talking.
Yeah. And then pulls out a bass guitar, and then it turns into an E.T. Bill and Ted crossover.
Uh-oh. I hate it.
That is my favorite movie, so I'll take
Bill
it.
and Ted?
Oh, fuck yeah. The first one only.
I was hoping that you were going to say E.T. because E.T.'s better.
I may have seen E.T. once as a kid, but that's
I've seen it a billion times, and the beginning used to scare the shit out of me when I was a kid. It was such creepy imagery, music. You can hear them scuttling in the background. Like, the shots are blurry, so you can't really make them out. It's just like, ugh. It's terrifying. And meanwhile, I have an E.T. plushie sitting on my big shelf in front of me here. Hi, buddy. How you doing? I got it at a convention. But anyways, I digress.
You do.
It's time to go on to a brand new song number 6, New Religion. And I mean, there's a lot from the 80s that aged well and didn't age well.
Yeah.
And like this song kind of has a representation of that, where like the synths in the beginning kind of building up into the song are definitely some of the things that didn't age well. I think it sounds terrible.
Really?
I try to remember like what time this came out around, but like still, there were better sounding synths in this album, in this song. Yeah. And yet, though, that intro just like bothered me.
Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and say it didn't bother me solely because I do not have a note on them at all. So maybe it either just got past me, or I'm just used to listening to this bullshit all the time.
Oh yeah.
I do think now, I mean, hot take here, just the vocals sound like they're like a decade ahead of their time. Just the tone in which he's singing is different from the songs that came before, even on this album. And honestly, I haven't listened to their first album, so I don't really know what sort of experimentation they were doing there. But the way that he's singing and just that vocal melody, there's just something about it that screams late 80s, early 90s. So it was kind of cool to hear that here, and maybe in the interim from here to there, they may have sort of developed that more. I'm Not sure. On the negative side, I found the chorus super weak. Like enough to write
Same.
the chorus is weak.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
SAWFT, soft.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That's a callback.
Didn't get me at all. It was just I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it other than weak and like numb in a way. I don't know. It didn't do it.
No, I got you because I obviously felt the same way, but as I just kind of agreed with you a moment ago.
Yeah.
At least for the verses, I do like how like it's like bouncy but chill. It's hard to describe. It like gives you that balance of both again, like I mentioned earlier. And here's you go. If this song has a music video, which clearly it doesn't, but this song had a music video, I can see them jamming outside of a church at night while some detective or something is roaming around inside solving crimes being committed by the priest. Now I want to note that I didn't say what crimes, and I'm not going to go there because that's too obvious. So I'm just going to assume that the priest is pocketing money. The audio listeners can't hear it because her microphone's cutting, but Savannah's finding this very funny.
I think it's hilarious because I'm just imagining this detective and, brown trench coat and brown hat and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
trilby and everything like that.
Yeah. And he's like running around the church, but then they're playing as if the detective can't clearly hear them or see them there.
Well, that's just his delusion, though. They're not actually there. He's just like he's hallucinating that. The priest doesn't know they're outside. But yeah, these dudes are like, and there's like some torches around the church. Maybe it looks like kind of almost cultish, but not quite. But like, it goes to show you that something's afoot, And then like, yeah, these weird crooked shots from inside the church that are like dimly lit, and then like you see the detective peer behind a corner, and like a priest is like, like putting money into his like giant robe, and then
like Scrooge McDuck.
And then at the end of the video, like the priest is like in cuffs being brought out to the police car, but in the news there, police there, and people are all around like shocked, like, oh, not the priest.
This is like an idea that definitely would have been prime like 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, and that's why I thought of it. Yeah,
you definitely have placed it in the right spot. Or that Madonna video that takes place in a church,
like a prayer.
Yes, that.
Because it was a black Jesus, and everyone got in a burning cross, and everyone got super pissed about it.
Yeah. And that the whole palm bleeding thing. What is that?
Stigmata.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so offensive. Oh my God! It's a good thing I'm not offended because I'm not religious. So I was just like, oh look, she went for an artsy thing.
Yeah, she's dancing. Good for her. Has anyone seen Madonna recently?
Yeah, did you see her birth a tree out of her vagina?
No, but she looks like a skin-walking lizard person now.
That feels like it's racist to say.
I have no idea. She has had
it's not
so
racist.
much.
It just sounds like it.
Oh my gosh, she has so much work done on her face that it's like she is unrecognizable.
Go back to your country, a skin-walking lizard-looking bitch. It's like it just sounds like it could be racist.
Well, I mean,
also,
if
we could
it's
just call her a
true.
I think she's just a Wendigo. I think she's just a skinwalker. That's all she is. She comes from Native American folklore.
Oh my God! But she looks like she'd be like one of those lizard people that like. I'll have
the ones that QAnon keeps telling us about.
Oh my God, I guess so.
YouTube, I didn't mean that. I'm not talking about them. Haha, funny joke. Okay, just please, because I know that's one of those like trigger terms now.
Oh my God! Hashtag please don't ban us.
Hashtag get your vaccines. I don't know. Just whatever helps the YouTube algorithm at this point. Exactly. We've already lost this game. I still have notes about the song, by the way. Not quite done yet. I'm going to tie in with the chorus now because that's where you said it kind of dropped off. Yes, the chorus is fairly underwhelming against the verse. And I mentioned that earlier too, how that happens quite a few times in this album.
Yeah.
Like it feels like it's holding back like way too much. And it would work as a great pre-chorus. Like the chorus would make a good pre-chorus. It's just like a weird slowdown and almost a pause in like the momentum. So I don't know. It just feels like it's a little backwards to me. And it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. I agree with most of that. I'm just going to tack on the point of I'm not sure this needed to be 5 minutes long.
5.5 minutes long, even worse.
It didn't even have to be 5 minutes. Fucking yeah, that was that.
Oh,
I have nothing else for this one.
I'm surprised you don't have anything else for this one because I thought you would have had something to say about the vocal overlapping.
No, obviously.
It was a very prominent part of like the second and or third verse and maybe even towards the outro as well.
Maybe it didn't bother me.
Like I thought it was incredibly unnecessary because like if it was done differently, it would have been fine. Like maybe you can like have one in the left, one in the right. It would still be a little disorienting, but at least it kind of gives you like it's trying to portray something. Whereas this one, like you have them spread over each other in like the center channel. It's way too messy, and
they're singing different things, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
it's not even a harmony
remember.
at all. But like, so any intent there was completely lost, and I just think it's a mess. I don't know why they thought this was okay. It sounds like shit.
I did recognize it, but I don't think I had any thoughts on it. So I was like, whatever.
You complain about the weirdest vocal things, but then that being obvious, you're just like, it's a thing. Look at you doing things.
Look at me getting better and ignoring things that normally would make me flip my wig.
Hey, can someone out there in the audience, can you make a compilation of all the times that we've contradicted ourselves in the podcast?
No, because it's mine are going to greatly outweigh yours.
That's fine.
I am a known and self-professed hypocrite.
Okay, well, now that you've called yourself out, now we can just have video evidence.
Yeah,
I'm
well aware.
on the internet, by the way.
That's fine. Just, you know what? You got to give me some sort of documentary style camera work at home, and you can see how many times a day I'm hypocritical. Don't leave that there, as she leaves her thing there.
And like at the end of this documentary, I just imagine like that's when they finally have the sit down interview with you. Like you're walking into the living room, sitting on the chair, and you just look tired and defeated. And then that's when they start asking, like, why are you a hypocrite? And then you just sit there and like silence for 2 minutes, and then you just do this whole like life story and everything like that. You try to like be portrayed as the victim, but then they're just like, this isn't working for you, is it?
and then the end card says that I denied intervention and that I relapsed on my hypocritical nature.
Yeah, she's like in the interview. You're just like, I think that that rehab and everything, and just like having an intervention is the best thing for me. Then a month later, she's like, this is the dumbest choice that anyone could have ever. Why would anyone ever want me to do this?
My choice to go to, and I'm like, who made me do this?
Exactly.
Oh God, yeah, that's me. I'm one of your hosts, Savannah.
Half of the show, and I said we're the B side, the B side of or whatever host something.
Yeah,
I also call us idiots at the beginning. You're welcome.
Yeah, I'll take it. That's fine. You've called me worse, so I mean that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, and I will continue to call you worse because we're nowhere near done this podcast. Not this episode, but just the podcast in general. Like we got years to just completely break you down physically and mentally.
Awesome.
Glad you're excited. Awesome. Anyway, song number 7 now, we will move on. Last Chance on the Stairway, or as I like to say, last chance for Savannah to impress me on this podcast.
Oh my God. Okay, so I wrote down xylophone, but after I looked on Wikipedia, it said marimba.
Marimba. I did the same thing. I wrote xylophone and found marimba.
Down for it. I'm so down for it. Oh, yes. But I didn't feel like the verse flowed into the chorus nicely, or as nicely as it could have, I guess. I don't know. Not a professional. But that being said, the verse on its own, cool. Chorus on its own, cool. Leading into each other, I found that just audibly to me didn't really work.
I guess I can agree. I don't agree. I had to think about it for a minute. There's like, where are my thoughts on this? Once again, the bass is probably the most exciting part of this song, as it usually has been so far. The synths are a little too high in the mix. I don't know. It doesn't really work for being atmospheric, especially tonally. So I mean, like, it was distracting in a way and just not really enjoyable. Yeah. I do like the hand drums in the middle of the track, though. So it was just a nice little thing to add a new texture with. That and the whole marimba, as I mentioned here, as we talked about earlier. So that they're trying new things. At the very least, I can kind of give them points for that. But unfortunately, it's not doing too much to make the song exciting to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did write, and I quote, if I heard this on the radio, I would think, oh, this song sounds okay. I did like how the guitar, I did like the guitar and how it seems to be a little bit more out in the open, a little bit more exposed. It is jangly, just how I like it. And I like the bass lines, but really I'm just reiterating that to fill time.
Jangly like keychains. You just like, you just tell people you have like having keys jangled in front of you.
I am an attention-seeking baby.
But the attention's away from you and on the keys though. So
No, but like I need that. Well, I am a stimuli-seeking baby.
that's more accurate. There you go.
There we go. Yep.
It's unfortunate to me because these songs have like such a bouncy quality to them at the very least, so you can like easily enjoy songs like this if it's on in the background. But like at least to me in headphones, like it just doesn't do much that for me that the previous songs haven't already done.
Mm-hmm.
So this song wasn't so great in my opinion.
Yeah,
it's not a bad song, but just I wouldn't care to go back and listen to it.
I agree. Going back to my radio comment, if I heard it, I wouldn't turn it off, but it's not one of those ones like a couple on this album that I would specifically go to that album's page, pick that song, and then move on to a different thing. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't fare well with me as a standalone listen.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on to the penultimate track, song number 8. Yeah, it's the 80s, and so there's only like 9 to 10 songs on each side of an album. Song number 8, Save a Prayer. Speaking of like a prayer by Madonna, Save a Prayer.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. I'm going to ruin everything and say I like this song. I think the music for the song is done so well, and it's quite obvious why the singles on this album are singles. The 3 there are, they're just like, to be fairly honest, they are some of the best and well done ones on this album. I feel like you said this earlier in the album, but I wanted to save it to the end. The synths and bass are really what carry this album musically. They really just push it forward. It kind of, they're ahead of the pack, yelling at everyone to catch up. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
So if I had a coin, I'd like literally just flip it over to the other side because I got to tell you about the other side of the coin, right? Like realistically, I do like the tame nature of the song and everything like that. Everything moves really smoothly, but like the synth with the little bends in it annoys me to the point of being distracting. And I actually Docs points out the song because of just that synth alone. But that's not the only reason though. There's good use of harmonies again in the chorus, just something to really enjoy that stood out to me. There's a guitar and or synth solo. It's like one or the other. I don't know what it is, but it sounds terrible tonally. Like I fucking hate it so much. Like I get you want to try things and everything, but like, I don't know. Again, it sat a little heavy in the mix and just sounded bad. So I don't know. I'm not sure it would have been fine sounding any other way. I don't know, but just the way it was now, I can't agree with it. And I mean, like, at the very least, though, this song is well placed on the album, being the second last track. It's not quite a final track, but close enough.
Okay, so I just think it's funny that one of my notes does say the processed guitar is a breath of fresh air I didn't know I needed. I did like it. It was fine. I do like that the seemingly out of place intro just lays the bed for the rest of the song. I don't know if, again, I didn't hear it before or if it was just a little quieter, maybe listening to it on the radio because I listened to this with my headphones this time. But it is pretty consistent throughout the song, so it makes the intro make a lot more sense to me. And I like the sort of atmospheric whistling wind feel of the synths or whatever. I don't know, kind of sounds woodwindy, but it's very, I don't know, wind in the desert feeling.
I guess I'll agree with you because I don't recall it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But I made my point about the song, what I did and didn't like about it, and there was a lot I didn't like about it. It's just sound-wise, like, you said you liked it, but and as if this is a single, this to me is one of the weaker ones for sure.
I don't agree, but we only have one more song left, so let's see where we go from there.
Yeah, thank God. Only one more song after this incredibly long album. Song number 9, the finale, The Chauffeur.
So the song does sound pretty simple until like the rest of the band comes in, and even then, it's still kind of lacking the flash that the rest of the album had, but it is nice because it's the last track on the album. So you kind of get that little come down without it being like a, 7-minute slow ass ballad. So I feel like they kind of split the difference and they're sort of in between with that. Cause I think this is the slowest sounding song on the entire album.
That's possible. Yeah, I guess I didn't pay attention to
I
that
think
part,
so,
but it's
yeah.
very possible. Yeah, because this does definitely have a come down, and like even though the song kind of builds on itself, like it starts pretty quiet for a while, then the percussion comes in and everything like that.
Yeah.
It still doesn't go too far out of hand, and it even ends pretty quietly, and there's like an ocarina at the end. So I mean, like, just goes to show how calm things really get. Yeah, a really strange opening to this song, considering what the album's given us so far. So I guess I wasn't expecting it. You get this like weird panning harpsichord sounds with like these staccato like eighth notes in the background. And they actually create like a far better atmosphere than most tracks have so far on this album. So it's something I really appreciated. And I mean, for the most part, I honestly didn't care for the percussion when it finally came in. I feel like the song was actually working really well in creating its own like beat and rhythm just on the instrumentals alone. Like I got a sense for the rhythm. I got a sense for like how the song is supposed to flow just with the instrumentals. But then the drums were just like, here they are in case, like, in case you really need the help. It's like, do you need a crossing guard to cross the road? If not, go that way. If so, come this way. Psych, you're going both ways.
Yeah. There's one there no matter what.
I don't know. That's kind of what I felt about like that portion of it anyway.
Yeah. I didn't really make notice of it other than I was kind of glad that it didn't, like, it wasn't more showy than it was, and it just sort of restrained itself right where it had it. I did like that some vocal parts are very like Depeche Mode-y. I don't know if it was just the end of certain lines or stanzas or whatever, but like I was down for it because he really kind of did that deep register, which I'm totally fond of. And the chorus melody sounds familiar, but I can't place what it sounds like. So if anybody listens to it going, oh, this sounds like this song, just put the name of the song in the comments. I need to listen to it because it drove me nuts the entire time. And I don't know if it's something that even exists, but it sounded super familiar.
The style of composition, like the vocal melody, it seemed familiar. I don't know if I remember it from anywhere. It's just I think I've heard other songs use that style before.
That might be it, yeah.
But actually, you know what though? Good time, because like I do like the vocal delivery in this song. I think it's really well done on this track. It doesn't get like wildly creative or anything like that, but what it does like works so well, like moving kind of calmly through the entire song. It's pretty wordy too, but there's something about that I like. It's not like overly wordy, like there are kind of like pauses between, but I like how well it works rhythmically. There you go. I can speak. But yeah, I really thought that was great. Probably one of my more favorite vocal performances on the album. And the ocarina is also a nice touch, as I mentioned earlier. It's something that doesn't really take away from the general relaxing flow of the song, but still adds something new and interesting. So there's that much to appreciate about it.
Definition, please.
Definition of
ocarina. I know Ocarina of Time, and I do not know what it is.
Well, you know the little tiny instrument he plays in that game, right?
Never played it. I've heard the title.
Well, it's a tiny little handheld, like kind of like a flute shell looking thing. That really soft kind of fluty thing you heard at the end of the song.
So is that what I put? Woodwinds? Is that what that would have been?
For this particular song, I know, but I don't know about other ones.
Okay.
But an ocarina, if you just Google, it's like this tiny little handheld thing, or even if you look up pictures from Ocarina of Time, he's literally playing an ocarina, so you'll get an idea for it. It's a very, very pretty sounding soft instrument. I really like it. I wish I knew how to play it, but I don't.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what that is.
Okay, because I was going to shit on the end of the song, but that's not the part. I was confused about what the ending was or really what it represented. It sounded like, I don't know, keys dropping or not glass breaking, but just some sort of sharp sounds at the end that I don't know. I don't know if it just represented something that I wasn't following due to not paying attention or analyzing the lyrics. But it did kind of sound out of place. But it did scream, album's over now. So, I mean, I guess that was, for any vinyl listeners, I'm sure that would have been all right.
I'm just thinking because you said like the sound of keys dropping, the song is called The Chauffeur.
Yeah.
So, maybe. I mean, maybe there's some sort of tie in there. I mean, I didn't read the lyrics either, so I couldn't tell you, but.
Did not think of that.
I could be way off though, so don't take it with a grain of salt. Remember when we actually used to do motions for that shit?
Yeah, remember when I actually tried to read, and then now I'm trying to read my own notes, and I can't even do that. So,
and that's why we have a pre-recorded
we're
intro.
Slipping. Yep.
We need to pre-record all of our notes for the songs, so that way I can make it sound extremely professional.
Oh my God, yes.
Way too much
Edit
editing.
out
No,
all the
thank you.
breathing.
Oh God, I do that. I do that for okay. I do that for a living. Okay, on business and banking podcasts.
Yeah.
I on the ums, the ahs, the long pauses, the breaths. Oh my fucking God, I do that for a living. So I'm not doing it for ours. That's why ours is like sloppy and casual sounding. I'm just like, I'm not doing that.
God forbid anybody breathe.
Yeah, unless you go to the microphone like. If you do that, yeah, I hope you can hear that. I hope you could smell that. There you go.
No, vocal ASMR makes me want to vomit. No, thank you. All right, moving on. We're done with the breathing.
We're done with the record too, actually. All 9 songs are behind us now. That was Duran Duran's Rio. So hey, thank you very much for making it this far. And hopefully checking out the album too, just like we did. Let us know what you think down in the comments below of wherever you may be listening, or over on our social medias as well at Rate the Record Podcast, Facebook, Twitter. It's weird to leave comments on TikTok about this stuff, but you can. Why not? That's cool. I can dig it. Regardless, you can find all that over at ratetherecord.ca. Let us know what you thought about the album. Curious, of course. Musical community building you.
Yeah, pyramid.
Just schemes.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't wait until the RTR scheme happens. We're not going to talk about it now, but trust me, it's in the works.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, let's move on. Come on.
Non-audible link for the audio listeners there. Audible wink.
Yeah. Wink.
I was gonna say,
if I did that, you would have been like, you're not supposed to say wink. And then
well, no, because I would have thanked you for including the audio listeners, but you didn't. Okay, so now.
Oh, whatever. Of course. In hindsight, right? Jeez Louise.
Well, while Savannah deals with her guilt of being wrong again, we're going to move on to the song rankings because this is part 2 out of 3 of the podcast, and so I guess we'll just go ahead and jump into this. So above our heads, boom, graphics have changed. There are names, there are numbers, but there's about to be more names because we got song titles to go with Duran Duran's Rio, and we need to know where we're putting this from 9 to 1. I literally have 2 question marks and all the rest are X's. I don't have a good feeling about this.
Yeah. I said 1 because I'm optimistic, but after listening to your piss poor review, I'm going to go ahead and still say 1.
Yeah, I said some pretty nice things just about your favorite songs.
I just really wanted to get that in there. That's all.
Oh, so you're just trying to get that jab back. I got you.
Yep. Yeah, right.
It's a good thing I can just go ahead and edit that out. That's the power of the editor.
Boo.
Alrighty, let's jump into this. Hopefully, I would love to get at least 1. Song number 9, Last Chance on the Stairway.
New Religion.
I also made that joke earlier about like how many one-offs we'll have. Number 8, New Religion.
My Own Way.
My Own Way. Okay, that's your number 8. My number 7 is My Own Way.
Last Chance on the Stairway.
Well, we have 2 one-offs so far. We're doing better for that.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is that's just like the bottom 3 there. So at the very least, we can maybe match one.
I hope so.
No. Probably not this one either. Number 6, Save a Prayer.
Lonely in Your Nightmare.
Lonely in. Okay, number 5, Hungry Like the Wolf.
Hold Back the Rain.
We're getting 0.
Yep.
Once again, it just never. The week off didn't refresh us. We're back to 0. Number 4, Rio.
Yeah, number 4, Rio. I was going to say, wait a minute. There's one we haven't said yet. Yeah.
I expected that to be higher on your list with the way you're talking about it.
Nope.
Wow, we actually got a match. Cool. I'll check that off real quick.
I was right.
Quiet, stooge. Number 3, Hold Back the Rain.
The Chauffeur.
But we definitely have more one-offs because number 2, The Chauffeur.
Hungry Like the Wolf.
Hungry, which means my number 1 at the very least is Lonely in the Nightmare. Or in Your Nightmare.
Interesting. Save a Prayer. Number 1.
To be fair, it was pretty tight between that and The Chauffeur. I really enjoyed The Chauffeur.
Yeah.
And I sat there juggling it for a while, but I decided to put in Lonely in Your Nightmare. But I swear tomorrow I'm going to be like, no, The Chauffeur.
Yeah. I'm going to have to disagree, say that my list was the best. But the fact that we got one match, you know what? I'm willing to look past all of your wrongdoings, and I call this a success.
You're the one who chose Duran Duran. It's your fault. This is how you gaslight
Oh,
people.
so it's all my fault now.
Thank you for admitting it. Finally, you said it. Anyways, we can move on now that she can move on to the next step of grieving and whatever, the 5 steps of whatever. We can rate the record now, so let's go ahead, transition screens, zoomies. Ah, yes, the album rating screen. We might have been gone for a week, but I haven't forgotten just how heavy stacked that beat here is.
Oh, Christ.
And guess what? We added one last time we did this too with One Hot Minute by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Of course, that's in the B tier. Why wouldn't it be? And why do I have a bad feeling that today is just another piece of rubble on the pile, whatever.
I have my thoughts. I don't want to tell you where I think this is going to land, but if 53 other episodes have told me anything, I kind of have an idea of what you thought about it. So I'm probably wrong, but we'll see.
One of us could have very well S-tiered this album, but then the other one just tanked it so much that it's a B tier. I'm telling you,
my God,
that's just how our brains. I made a meme about this too. It's like trash album, perfect album, right in the middle, B tier.
Fucking like right top level, and then someone like D's it, and then it's in the middle, and then that the person who I think neither of us would win. Like both of us would be pissed.
I'm going to be pissed if it's another B, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen anyways.
Yeah.
Alrighty then, so yeah, it's time to rate a record. We have Duran Duran's Rio here. It's got to go somewhere on the list. Hopefully not a B, but I've got a bad feeling. So this is your album. That means I'll go first. And you were just telling me that you believe that I scored this a 63%.
Yes, correct.
And you went for a whole ass round number. You didn't go for any decimal points.
No.
Well, the good news is my score doesn't actually have decimal points. It came out as a round number.
Not bad.
Here's the shocker.
Yeah.
75. 12 points off. Yeah, like and guess what? As soon as I saw it was 75, I headbutted my desk and I was like, fuck, we did it again, didn't we? Because before you say your score, I'm just going to pull up the card here and prepare to show it to the camera. I have your score written down, and now I'm very curious to know where you put this album.
It's a big tier. 76, 78.
78.6.
Oh my God, yeah, 76, 78.
I had a feeling you were going to enjoy this one. Sorry, yours
was a lot higher than I thought it was going to be. And
would you say those 76 point what? Sorry?
Oh, but 76.78.
Okay.
Oh my God. I thought that, okay, for me, the songs that I really like. And I didn't really shit on the rest of the album. So when I tallied it all up, I was actually really surprised that it was as high as it actually was. Yours blows me out of the water. I cannot believe that it is that high.
The higher songs on the list really did it for me, and the lower songs, I'm surprised didn't tank it more, but here we are. I mean,
right? Oh my God, we're so close.
Not only was I afraid of a B tier, but this album was taunting me with 75 even dead center, laser focused, pinpointed center of the B tier. Like, this is a joke. And our total of this album with our combined scores is 75.85%. So it is still middle.
It is right above Red Hot Chili Peppers, One Hot Minute.
Oh, really?
That one had 75.22, and the next one is set in the 76.
What was my score? Okay, good. At the very least, I rated One Hot Minute higher than this album. It was just your score that tanked. The Chili didn't tank.
Oh my God. That is wild. Like, I'm whatever. I know at the beginning off camera, I joked and saying it's not going to be a B tier. It's going to be a B plus tier. Okay, well, maybe. But I am so surprised that your score is as high as it is.
Yeah, I was too. I didn't have many high expectations going into this one, but here we are, 75 dead even, and then our total score is just 85.85 above that.
Dang, that's wild stuff.
Furious I am. Furious, he yells into the microphone. Another dead center B tier album with Duran Duran's Rio. Again, I've said it once, I'll say it again. We're not doing this on purpose. This is just how shit falls. And then, I don't know.
Yeah.
B tier. Yeah.
That, oh my God, all of that is just so funny to me. I love it.
I hope that people are getting enjoyment out of the fact that I'm now miserable with this podcast. You're getting some sort of sick, twisted pleasure out of it.
Because I keep picking funny albums, and they're not funny where they're like, oh, it's kind of odd she's picking this. It's, why the fuck did she pick that? And I am just basking in it. Oh, I love it so much.
Me, on the other hand, I'm just like, maybe we should just go with albums I pick from now on, because they tend to do better.
No. Well, to be fair, I do have more, well, I don't want to say more, but I have a more consistent pop sensibility than you do. So I feel like I'm more likely to pick poppier albums that aren't as, I don't know, well recognized. Whereas, like I said to you, the top 7, I believe, of our rankings, they're all in the A tier and they are all your choice. And I like rock music. So, I mean, that helps. But I can imagine that you're not going to see like Collective Soul or Gin Blossoms in the A tier of our list. But that is definitely something I would pick. So
I wouldn't necessarily tank a Collective Soul album. I mean, if you pick something out of the last 12 years, then yes.
Yeah.
But if you pick one of their like first 4 albums, perfect.
The album Youth, I would pick that one.
That's like the weird middle line where it's like it's got some tracks, but other than that, I hate it. Is that also the one that had Elton John on it?
I don't know. I feel like that was the one that had Y Part 2, but they never wrote Part 1.
Oh, that big old question, huh? Anyways, we're kind of rambling now because I'm trying to feel better about a whole another B tier. Thank you very much for joining us and experiencing yet another B tier. What you thought was originally a meme and a joke is actually reality. Nothing but B tiers on the show. So if you have a differing opinion or you also B tiered, by all means, let us know down in the comments. Over on our social medias, wherever you can find it, over at theRateTheRecord.ca as well. Just let us know what you thought about this album, because obviously we're very curious about it. We hear our opinions all the time, but what about yours?
Yes, please. And like I've said before, I really like listening or really like reading what you guys think of this album or any ones that we have done. It kind of puts a different spin on what I thought of it, hearing what other people think, because like what Kris thinks, it doesn't matter. But what matters is you, the listener.
You say that knowing damn well I've picked the better albums on the show. And I've even picked 2 albums that tied for first place on our show.
I think we've moved past talking about you. So
that's fine and dandy, but it's still there forever. Cemented, monumentized. Is that a word?
Just go silent and black and that's it. Podcast over.
Hey, I have control of this call. I can just mute you right now if I want to.
I don't know why you didn't do it earlier.
But yeah, once again, thank you very much for joining us. We do appreciate you having here, regardless of the fact that we can't stand each other anymore. But that's fine. That's part of the chemistry. Haha. We're actually really friendly, aren't we? Haha. Shut up.
Because that's my humor. I can't take it seriously.
Good, then you'll think, I'm actually joking.
Oh my god.
Anyways, yes. Again, let us know what you think. I guess this is where we can kind of let you go for the week. But before we do that, of course, we'd like to let you know, give you a little sneak preview of what's happening next week. Yes, there is an episode next week. Mainly for the fact that because we're done our mid-season break, we still have 8 more episodes to go. So I don't really have anything really written for next week. All I have is another popular 90s album is turning 30. We have an anniversary.
So that's what, 1992?
Yes.
Pearl Jam's Verses.
You're a few episodes too late.
That was what, 94?
Yeah, something like that. I think 10, you would have been closer to 10 with your guess.
Okay. I one more guess. Tears for Fears.
No, it's Weezer's Green album from 2001 or something like that.
I hate the song Hash Pipe. Please don't ever make me listen to that.
Well, we're not doing that next week, but we are doing an album turning 30. Very popular album. Very groundbreaking album for its time too. I will say that. And you might already know what it is, especially when I said it's an anniversary album next week. So look forward to that. So you go ahead, keep on guessing what it is, and also reflect on today's episode. Hopefully you didn't beat here, but again, let us know. So until we see you next week, go listen to some awesome music like Duran Duran's Rio. I mean, obviously it's up there.
Duran Duran's Rio. Say it with conviction.
You did for me. I don't need to do anything. Once again, thank you very much. We'll see you again next week. So take care, friends.
Goodbye.